Hey, I wonder if I'll have a bit more views with this part 4 because of my partial nudity, which is strategic, but not but not for more views. Okay, this guy Nicholas Griffin. Humans is Tom Phillips' timely, although it's too late, irreverent gallop through thousands of years of human stupidity. Every time you begin to find our foolishness bizarrely comforting, I don't know why it should be depressing or should be heartbreaking. Phillips adds another kick in the ribs. Beneath all this book's laughter is a serious question. Where does so much cereal stupidity take us? Not just because of the sugar cereal that we're feeding our kids and making them stupider and addicted to sugar, but so Nicholas Griffin. I'm going to read the last 2 pages. Uh, but first, I wanted to say that, again, James Lovelock, like I've mentioned before, his electron capture detector machine that he invented helped us discover, he was on a boat also making measurements earlier in his career, helped discover the hole in the ozone layer, or at least more awareness of the ozone layer. Hey, look, poor people get access to free stuff, so I got this for free one time. Oh, the light is not great. Dove. Hey, I'll read this for you. Dove, self-esteem project. Help them shine. Then there's pictures of kids. Celebratory edition. Join us in educating 250 million kids by 2030. Oh, that's a coincidental date there. And then it says dove.com/self-esteem. Original, antiperspirant, non-irritant. And then it has danger labels, and the danger labels is fire and explosion. Extremely flammable container, may explode if heated. Guess what kids do, whether they have good self-esteem or not, is they often try to see what happens when they heat up something and it explodes. Now, if you want kids to not smell so badly, you can teach the importance of hygiene, but also there are alternatives to deodorants that won't explode, right? What else does it say here? Well, it says Dove is a registered trademark imported by Unilever Canada, Toronto. There's an 800 number if you want to find out where this is made, because I can't see where it was made. 1-800-761-DOVE, which is 3683. And try to find out where this was made. And the code on it is 79-400-44-606. And what else does it say? Well, it says things like effective protection that feels instantly dry and is kind to skin protection. Okay, and then translated. Shake well before use. Spray to underarm. I want to see. What happens with my freaking self-esteem, which is already pretty high. Mm-hmm. Oh, smells good. I must be a good person now. And what else you need to know, guys, is that, well, let me read the ingredients for you to see if we've evolved as a species. Because you know what happens when there's more and more poverty and there's more and more children with no role models to become Homo sapiens, is there's actually more devolution. So that means that you might suddenly encourage kids to take cigarettes or the modern version of it, or you might they don't kids don't learn social skills or how to date or be in healthy relationships. So some teenagers might use this for other things, and then suddenly you can ask your doctors, hey, have you ever had somebody have this explode or leak somewhere inside somebody's body? And it's possible because you're not teaching social skills. Uh, and one of the reasons you're not is as adults, you don't want to admit you don't have human level social skills. But here's the ingredients, and because we are devolving, you are now gonna put back all the kind of poisons to kind of balance out poverty and balance the bottom line of the business as usual companies. And so ingredient, the first one butane, then hydrofluorocarbon 152A, cyclopentasiloxane, isobutane, aluminum chlorohydrate, ppg 14 butyl ether heliantus. Oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't study chemistry to know how to pronounce all these terms. And a whole bunch of other self-esteem building, chemicals, because we're not human and we don't plan to be. Okay, so I'm going to read this, and that'll be it for you guys. I think I have enough storage, I think, to read 2 more pages. And what does it matter? Well, as I said, I was born too late for your failures to be self-corrected. But anyways, I don't want to be part of the problem, and I'm making that very clear with my videos. Okay, so there's no conclusion or summary, but there's an epilogue, and this is the last 2 pages. The worry about outsourcing our decisions to computers doesn't stop there. As research on artificial intelligence progresses apace, the fear here is that if we do manage to create an AI that's far smarter and more capable than humans, well, according to this book, we probably already have it because we're pretty dumb, we might be mistaken in thinking it'll be on our side. By the way, an AI and the possibility of it is already in motion, even if everybody stops working on this. And it's because concepts like the internet eventually would emerge such a phenomenon, okay, over time. It might be able to manipulate us to its own ends. It may see us as a threat and destroy us, or it may simply fail to recognize that humans are important. Yeah, I don't see the important part. And again, this is where he's more disconnected with what he wrote in the book. It's yeah, I'm not sure if he wrote this part or what, but it seems very incongruent with what he wrote so far. So and will end up being little more than fodder for its goal of creating as many paper clips as possible. That's a joke from a story somewhere, or whatever other task we've set to it. We've set. The prospect that we might Frankenstein ourselves into oblivion may seem remote, but a worryingly large number of supposedly smart people appear to be taking the prospect quite seriously. Or maybe we'll just blow ourselves up in a nuclear war before any of this happens. And by the way, if there's a nuclear war or ongoing nuclear accidents, um, they don't need to be designed or planned. It's just that we are dumb. We don't care about each other. We do extreme things because people in power are developmentally disabled. So it's not like, oh no, we're becoming so wise it would never happen again. No, it's becoming more and more likely to happen over time. Even since World War II, we have been devolving ourselves in ways that it's becoming more likely because of our devolution and because of the accessibility of things that create nuclear explosions or misunderstanding or wars or accidents. So as I said before, it's only a matter of time. I predicted a couple of years ago the percentage of it happening within even my lifetime, but not when I'm 80. Way before that. Like look for that video if you want to know my calculation for that. But a worryingly large number of or perhaps the fuck up won't be as dramatic as that. Maybe we'll just quietly doom ourselves to a crappy future through our own laziness. Ever since we slipped the surly bonds of Earth and entered the space age, our approach to stuff we don't need anymore in space has been pretty much the same as our approach to all the other rubbish we create. We just throw it away. Space is very big, after all. So how much would it matter? Okay, and here it's like, he talks about space, but we're talking about, just not very far off where, we have artificial structures orbiting. That's where Kessler syndrome comes in. This was predicted by NASA scientist Donald Kessler way back in 1978. And again, everything that happened was already talked about. This is going to happen. And we don't ask why, we never self correct, right? And it has a lot to do with HSD. And yet, it hasn't stopped us chucking stuff away in space. The problem is that when you dump things in orbit, they don't really go anywhere. It's not like throwing a potato chip bag out of a car window to be immediately forgotten about. Space rubbish stays orbiting at roughly the same speed and on the same trajectory as the thing it was thrown out of. And sometimes it will collide with other bits of junk, including that one that it was thrown out of. The trouble with that is that because of the speed objects in orbit are moving at, a collision becomes incredibly destructive. A single collision with the smallest piece of material can be catastrophic, destroying satellites or space stations. And those deadly collisions produce, that's right, thousands upon thousands more pieces of space junk, all of which can cause more collisions. This is what Donald Kessler predicted, that eventually space will become so crowded with junk, that means with us, that this process will reach a tipping point where each collision creates more and more collisions until our planet is surrounded by an all-enveloping cloud of high-velocity garbage missiles. The result of this, satellites become useless and launching into space becomes a deadly risk. We could become, effectively, earthbound. That's an interesting point. If let's say the 10 richest billionaires in the world secretly create a ship to escape what's coming in the next few years, if not sooner, well, first of all, they have no place to go. Second of all, it is going to become more and more dangerous as science is sped up. We don't become better at thinking in the future, and we just gonna do quick fix with our science. And scientists should know better, but they allow this. So if you could have loved ones who are safe drivers, and then suddenly, like a piece from orbit hits their car and they die. And so I hope you'll know who to sue for that. In some ways, I'm still inhaling that stuff. It feels like it would be a weirdly poetic end to the journey that Lucy failed to begin all those millions of years ago. All that exploration, all that progress, all those dreams and grand notions, and that's where we end up. Trapped on our planet by a prison we've made from our own trash. And some of it is trashy thoughts, trashy beliefs, trashy assumptions, trashy ideologies, trashy worldviews, trashy lifestyles, okay? So it's not just a piece of material. There's a lot of trash going up here in most people I meet, and unless somehow you can reboot their brain and start over, I tell you, it's you're building a repair on top of a broken foundation. Whatever our future holds, whatever baffling changes come along in the next year, the next decade, and the next century, you're thinking a little too far. You're optimistic there. It seems likely that we'll keep on doing basically the same things. We will blame other people for our woes and construct elaborate fantasy worlds so that we don't have to think about our sins, like pointing the finger at somebody. That'll never go away as a popular way to not look at our own irresponsible behaviors. We will turn to populist leaders in the aftermath of economic crises. We will scramble for money. We will succumb to groupthink and manias and confirmation bias. We will tell ourselves that our plans are very good plans and that nothing can possibly go wrong. Or maybe we won't. Maybe this is the moment that we change and start learning from our history. Maybe all this is just being pessimistic. And no matter how dumb and depressing the world today may sometimes seem, in actuality, humanity is getting wiser and more enlightened, and we are lucky enough to live at the dawn of a new age of not fucking up. So this is a maybe, right? Maybe we really do have the capacity to be better. And I don't know where this false hope is coming from, because the evidence is we're getting worse. One day, perhaps, we'll climb up a tree and not fall out. And the last page is this. Okay, and the fact that somebody that dumb has followers, and that obviously big a bullshitter is that popular and that followed, again, is the conclusion, right? Do you think somehow we're heading in the right direction, or we're getting dumber, and the people that were followed in the past, when we didn't even have that much access about who this king was and if we should honor his wishes or not, we have so much access about how this guy is an idiot, and yet that's what we honor and follow and admire and want to be now. So yeah, so again, listen to that song in the last 60 years, where my ending, although it's not the complete version, it's a draft version of that song, it's not the complete song. The rest of the lyrics are in the notes. It says, what's going to happen next? It's not that hard to predict. And it's sad for me. And I've mentioned recently that I look forward to having social interactions of better quality when things accelerate going wrong, because I'll be appreciated for who I've become in my detaching myself from the sicknesses of the norm and how I've been able to explain it, but it still will make me sad every day.